Hey, everybody.
Hey, everybody. How's it going?
Hey, welcome to another fun edition of the Paranormal Show and Tell. Tonight's the mystery show, guys. So, before we go there, do we have any housekeeping to take care of, gentlemen?
Let's see. Since I don't normally do this.
Yeah, guys, I'll do it. Hey, guys, we have a conference coming up. It's in September. It's in Missouri. Come, be there or be square. There's a bunch of people. And our flyers all over the place. I'm really bad at this. I'm a special guest. And I think we're done.
Yes. We put him as a special
guest. We're done.
Whining until we put him as a special guest.
Yeah.
I was promoted, guys. Anyway, so tonight is our mystery episode. This was an episode we've been planning because, as a treat to our loyal and fabulous listeners, Brandi, Randy, and I were talking. Tex was not involved in the group chat because he still refuses to get on Facebook.
Yeah.
He still refuses. Yeah. He got on once. He dipped his toe in, and then he was like, ooh, this water's too cold. And then he just dipped right out. Anyways, so today the mystery episode is that Tex, Randy, and myself, and perhaps a mystery guest who will join us, if said mystery guest will get done putting on said makeup.
Yeah.
We are going to do a special episode where you, our fabulous audience, decides what we talk about. Because we would like to pay a little bit back to you, our loyal listeners. If there's anything you guys have in the chat, if there's anything you guys want us to discuss, please just type it out. Or if you have any questions or any topics you would like to blurt out, please feel free to just let it rip.
Put it in caps. Please put it in caps because I'm not going to pay attention if you don't.
I'll pay attention, guys. You don't. Weather modification. That's what Pat Evans wants to talk about. First topic. So, gentlemen, Tex, let's start with you. Thoughts? Weather modification. Do you think it's going on? Do you think they're jacking with our weather?
They've been doing it since the 1800s, yeah. Since we could fly, they've been doing it. Actually, before that, because they were doing it with rockets.
What were they doing in the 1800s?
In the 1800s with rockets?
I think they did. When did they invent the first rocket?
It wasn't in the 1800s.
It was a long time before that.
Okay.
Patty's like, as long as you don't talk about K-pop. Oh, don't tempt me, Patty. Don't tempt me.
That's an that's a taboo subject for the night. How's that?
Nope. Brandy's already banned that topic on this show.
Yeah. Anyway,
K-pop ghost.
Yeah, I got some paranormal K-pop stories, but she was like, nope, not having it.
Well, she's not here. But
weather modification.
Yeah, weather. I mean, yeah, they've been seeding clouds for years. So that's weather modification.
Yeah, but there has never been a true successful attempt or conversion of any foreseeable, real, tangible evidence that it actually worked.
Yeah, there has. What are you talking about?
There has not. That's what I'm saying. They seed the clouds, right? All they're doing is bringing the vapor together that spits out a couple of drops, and that's it. That's literally it. There's been no major weather phenomena associated with cloud seeding.
Okay.
Uh-oh. They're getting into it.
Just like them people that kept throwing that we were pushing the hurricanes, with stuff all over the place, boy birds aren't real. What boy birds?
Okay, listen up.
That's fireworks, Gary. That's fireworks.
Weather modification is the act of intentionally manipulating or altering the weather. The most common form of weather modification is cloud seeding, which increases rainfall or snowfall, usually for the purpose of increasing the local water supply. Weather modification can also have the goal of preventing water or damaging weather, such as hail or hurricanes, from occurring or provoking damaging weather against an enemy as a tactic of military or economic warfare, like Operation Popeye, where clouds were seeded to prolong the monsoons in Vietnam. Weather for modification in warfare has been banned by the United Nations and under the Environmental Modification Convention. A popular belief in Northern Europe was that shooting prevents hail, thus causes any agricultural town to fire a cannon.
Doing what prevents hail?
Shooting
fire. Or cannon fire.
Shooting cannons prevents hail?
In Northern Europe, it was there was a belief that shooting cannons prevents hail, which thus caused many agricultural towns to fire cannons without ammunition. Veterans of the 7 Years' War, 7 Years' War, and the American Civil War reported that rain fell after very large battles. After their stories were collected in War and Weather, the United States of the Department of War in the late 19th century purchased $9,000 of gunpowder and explosives to detonate them in Texas in hope of condensing water vapor into rain. The results of the test were inconclusive. William Reich performed cloud-bursting experiments in the 1950s, results of which were controversial and not widely accepted by mainstream science. November 1954, Thailand Royal Rainmaking Project discovered that many areas faced the problem of drought. Over 82% of the agricultural land relied on rainfall. The farmers were not able to grow crops for lack of water. On July 20, 1969, when the first rainmaking attempt was made, dry ice flakes were scattered over clouds. Reportedly, some rainfall resulted. In 1971, the government established Artificial Rainmaking Research and Development. In the run and get this, in the run up to the 2008 Beijing Olympic Games, the Chinese government said they control precipitation to some extent, and that the games would not be hampered by bad weather conditions. For this purpose, they established a government office called the Beijing Weather Modification Office.
Okay. Once again, the brain's kind of going with the science mode here. Okay. Yeah, they've done the stuff, and there's only one actual tangible study that has actually produced this phenomena, if you want to call it, with actual increase, and that's called the Snowy Project, which was conducted in Idaho. They cloud seeded to try and increase the snowpack, and the Desert Research Institute, actually involved in the cloud seeding project, said it looked like their research showed a 10% growth over a year, an entire year. That's constantly doing it. You know what I mean? And Pat, as far as what's in chemtrails, that depends on what's making the chemtrails. If you're talking about from the actual jets and stuff, most of the time it's going to be water vapor or fuel vapor of some sort.
Yeah. I've got a question from an audience question from Keith.
Mm-hmm.
Your opinions on the new discoveries regarding the pyramids. I can speak a bit on this one.
Yeah, you'd have to, because I haven't really looked into it yet. I've heard a lot of stuff, but I haven't really had a chance to read up on it.
But
I was watching it.
Hang on. Before we get into that, I want to show y'all a picture. Let me get in here. Those are hail cannons.
So where are they shooting at the hill?
I got a bottle of snake oil around here somewhere too. Let me go see if I can find it.
Those are hail cannons. So there.
Did they prove effective?
Some say yes, some say no.
Yeah. See, there we go.
So
now you've seen a hail cannon. Now,
back to the
onward and upward.
So I was watching this one. It was like a science show where they were addressing that whole thing where they think they discovered the 8 pillars underneath the pyramids. But a couple things were kind of fishy about that. One was the method. It was like it was a mix between like radar and like I forgot what the other method was called. It was like some kind of sonar or whatever. It was like a combination of two methods where they were able to find they were using the waves that were bouncing back and collecting that data and extrapolating that there were about 8 pillars, right? The science
like
channel
ground penetrating radar.
yeah.
Yeah, LiDAR.
But the science channel was the main problem they had with that whole thing was the way they were extrapolating the fact that there were 8 pillars based off the way the sound waves were bouncing back.
Mm-hmm.
Because it looked very selective from like a mainstream science point of view.
Okay.
And there was some weird stuff about one of the guys who had made that discovery. Like he was like all up on that Anunnaki tip and like weird alien stuff, and he was very woo, let's just say. It wasn't like some like mainstream scientists who were just doing a geological survey and then saw this anomaly. It was like a guy who was already like out to prove the whole ancient alien theory, the ancient astronaut theory. And then he comes back with this fluffed up data showing that there were 8 pillars, but according to that science person, it doesn't quite hold up. But that's like the mainstream science answer to that. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I was sitting there as you're doing, I was looking at it, and I know the one of the biggest headlines obviously is about the underground city. You were talking about the 8 pillars and such.
Yeah.
There's like a giant underground city under the actual
exactly werewolf
the pyramids themselves.
Bias.
And I'm just looking at, and we could trust Reddit as far as we can throw it too, but I've never heard of this. It's called synthetic aperture radar technology, and it revealed it. Now, what does that mean? I can't tell you. I don't know, because I've never heard of that term before. So, I mean, I've dealt with radar. I've dealt with ground penetrating radar. I mean, technically speaking, your mine sweepers / metal detectors, they're a type of sonar, really, because it's a sound wave that they're sending down.
Right.
So, and radar does that too, but I guess the pure strength of it is, I don't know. The radar, I guess, is more powerful than what we would deal with on our handhelds, obviously. So,
oh well, Pat said we're not digging deep enough
for that their answer. Yeah, they're talking about
pun. Get it?
Yeah.
Get it, Randy?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, so the rods of God. He asked about that. The rods of God refers to a concept of for kinetic.
Yeah, that's that military idea where they would take like these tungsten rods, like have them floating up in orbit and shoot them down at military targets. We're supposed to have the ballistic energy of like a stupid amount of TNT. I actually think it's kind of a cool idea, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Well, they did the same thing with the when they popped that asteroid. That's what they used.
Yeah. I mean, you can get that kind of kinetic energy with just shooting like tungsten rods down from orbit like that at a target.
Like dropping a nickel off the Empire State Building.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you got that velocity building to terminal velocity by the time it actually gets through the upper area of the atmospheres, so don't be underneath it. That's all I got to tell you.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think tungsten would burn up, on re-entry, but who knows? I mean, honestly.
Well, let's see.
Here we go. Simply got you. Simply got you. Rods from God is a nickname for a theoretical space weapon system involving hurling precision-guided telephone pole-sized tungsten rods. Now, that's a big tungsten rod, now, mind you, from space, designed to cause devastation similar to a nuclear blast. That's your second one right there, nuclear blast.
Well, during the Korean and Vietnam War, there was limited use of something like this. They were called the lazy dog bombs. And it was a kinetic projectile shaped like a conventional bomb, but only about 1 3/4 inches long and a half inch in diameter, but a piece of sheet metal was folded to make the fins and welded to the rear of the projectile. They were dumped from an aircraft onto enemy troops and had the same effect as a machine gun fired vertically.
Yeah. Yep. And me being in the chemical world, you know, it sounds a lot like what they did with bomblets, is what they called them, for spreading chemical munitions at one time.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I were president, I would set that up. I would think it would be a cool weapon to have.
Yeah, because in 2003, the United States Air Force proposed a system described as hypervelocity rod bundles. Was that of 20 feet long, 1 foot in diameter tungsten rods.
Yeah.
Yeah. Holy crap, that's big.
Yeah.
See, the reason why I would have that if I were president would be because if I would go up to like my international rivals and I'd be like, don't make daddy spank you. Don't make me take out the rod. I'll spank you.
Telling you right now. I mean, you know, now Boondock kind of got that right. You know, accuracy. Now, if we're talking about guided, they got to have some sort of guidance system on it to do what they're talking about doing, you know. So what kind of guidance are we talking about? I mean, if you're talking about just putting fins on it, you know, and a radio guided, let's say, system that would actually work the fins where, you know, you can kind of direct it, kind of like a guided bomb almost, you know.
Right.
It's a bomb, it's coming in, you're guiding it still, but you're still got a margin of error there, you know what I mean?
Oh, well, absolutely. It's not like a laser guided bomb.
No. No. And I'm like sitting there thinking about it more and more. I was like, that's a telephone size rod of tungsten coming down.
Yep.
And we're trying to guide it with these little flaps we've got on the ass end of it. Here we go. You know?
Well, I think that's why it was largely abandoned, because they realized it wasn't cost effective or practical. I mean, we have that capability to lay down that kind of devastation already without having to spend all the resources of getting all these tungsten rods up in space and then figuring out like a delivery system or a targeting system. Yep. You know, we got C-130s already. We can lay down that kind of devastation now without having to spend all this extra money on like research and development. Yeah. That's why I believe the project was largely abandoned.
Well, yeah. And, you know, if you think about it, let's just talk about, you know, you got biological weapons. People have used biological weapons for centuries, okay? Yep. We say we will never use it. That was our policy forever. Doctrine forever was we will never use biological weapons, and as far as I know right now, it still is. But other people were trying to use it, and the problem was they used the vectors, which means the mosquitoes, the sprays, the whatever. They would try to use them. Guess what? You can't control. Once you let it go, you can't control it no more. It may hit you, it may hit them, it may hit whoever. It's just not worth the effort. So
same thing with chemical warfare.
Exactly. That's why we don't do that no more. But you know, just don't. As long as nobody ever brings up the movie The Rock to me, I'm good. So
he hates The Rock, folks.
I hate that movie,
not the wrestler. Hey, Michelle, what's up?
Hey, Michelle. Let's see. Number one, it's got Nicolas Cage in it. Number two, as a chemical soldier for 23 freaking years, I know what they've got in those little bomb things is not VX. VX is not green, first of all, and you don't give an atropine shot to your heart, okay?
All right, any other topics, folks, for us? Let's see what else.
Yeah, this is
Little Patty asked, "Hey Donnie, a question. What's your favorite color?"
We don't care. We don't know.
My favorite color is green. Just saying. Just saying.
Well, since we're on it, Randy, what's yours? You tell me.
Favorite color? Let's see. Wait. No, actually, what's really bad is I like hunter green. It's one of my favorite colors. I used to say OD green, but you know, I've been retired for a while. I don't have to worry about that no more.
Mine is blue, deep blue.
Boondock, you inject it in your buttocks. I'll give you that right now. It's an atropine injector.
Pat Evans says, I heard we are in World War III. There is an argument to be made that World War III has already started, and we're already in it. It's
in the early days of it, yeah.
Yeah. The S word is about to hit the fan, as they say.
The fecal matter is about to hit the rotational oscillating device.
Yes.
Oh, Lord. You PC people. I need to go back to my channel so I can cuss.
What? You never cuss on your channel. That's my channel.
Well, I cuss on both of them. I just try to keep it down a little bit on mine.
Oh, no. I actually try to cuss more than I usually do on my channel.
Oh, I know.
I don't even cuss that much in real life.
Okay. So the vet says, hey, Tex, tried to send you my dog man, but my computer didn't recognize the email you posted for me.
She must have typed it in wrong.
Yeah, here.
Paracryptidencounters at gmail.com. Did I get it right?
Yep.
Well, Tex, if I ever wind up having a dog man experience, you will be the first person I email.
Okay, it's official.
Yeah,
it's official. I don't like Boondock no more. Sinister green was the perfect Dodge color. I don't care what anybody says. Sinister green or that late 60s, early 70s blue that they had that only Dodge had were the two greatest colors in modern freaking automobile history. Okay.
Well, Pops. What did Pops say? I haven't been watching chat very much.
Let's see. Hi, Gary.
Puff the Magic Dragon
in Vietnam.
Oh yeah. Yep. He's remembering that from the. If you ever saw the movie The Green Berets, it gets put on display. It's a C-130 with a essentially a Gatling gun. They could put the 30 millimeter cannon Gatling, right?
Yep.
And it could put a round, a 30 millimeter round, every square inch of a football field.
Yep, in one pass.
In one pass.
They also make a 7.62 version of it, and they make a 5.56 version.
Are we talking about like a Warthog?
Oh no,
yeah.
No,
yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Well, the Warthog's it's its own little plane and everything, but I'm talking about.
I know that, but it's got the same weapon.
It doesn't have the Gatling. It does have the 30 millimeter cannon, but it doesn't have the Gatling.
Well, it's chain fed.
Yeah. But either way, that's something you don't want to mess with. And I remember listening to them when they do when they run Vulcan gunnery, and there's nothing like the sound of a Vulcan going off.
Right.
I don't care what anybody says. It's just like,
well, and the thing about it is when they fly, when they circle with the C-130 firing that weapon, it actually pushes the plane sideways. So
I believe it.
Correct their flight path as they go.
I believe it.
So it's basically a giant gun with wings.
For the most part.
That's why they call it a gunship.
Yep. A giant gun with wings.
No, Eric R. There you go. Talk about the gunship, C-130 gunship.
Yep.
All right. So what we got going on?
I always thought Puff the Magic Dragon was a marijuana reference.
It is.
Depending on who you talk to.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was a nickname for an actual killing machine.
Oh, yeah. So.
Okay.
Yeah. Of course, you know the song Puff the Magic Dragon?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's going through my head. Thank you very much.
Dragon sat on a shelf. Nobody wanted to play with Puff, so Puff played with himself.
Okay.
All right.
Cut him out. He's done.
All right. Any other topics, guys? Please. Should we do some paranormal cryptid stuff? Any paranormal cryptid topics? Because this is a paranormal show. Let's talk about ghosts, guys.
Oh, no. Ghosts. I mean, let's see.
Well, let's talk about some K-pop paranormal stories.
K-pop paranormal. Well, I got a whole presentation lined up, Tex. I got to get my visual references and everything. And there were like video clips I wanted.
He's not
to play.
prepped.
I'm not
He
prepped
is not
for that.
prepped.
And it's a lot of prep because I have a lot to say about that topic. There was this one K-pop star who actually, there's a famous story in the K-pop world about this one K-pop star who encountered an actual skinwalker in Hawaii. And that story needs to get out there because people don't know that story. But yes, it did happen. K-pop and skinwalkers did collide one fateful night in Hawaii.
Can I get Tex mad at me?
Oh yeah, well, he thinks Dogman is BS. How dare you say that about my Lord and Savior, Randy?
Hey, let's bring it on. Hey, now, obviously Kimber ain't here. Gary says she's got something else going on, so but yeah, I'd like to hear about the activity one day. That's for sure.
So anyone here in the chat have any like Bigfoot encounters lately?
Any what?
Bigfoot encounters?
I've been out in the woods.
Actually, speaking of Bigfoot, guys, I've been researching this topic because I've been meaning to bring it up on my show. It's got to be done on my show, but you both are invited on as panel guests for this topic because I've been researching it. Because it's a topic that I feel like not enough people in the Bigfoot cryptid community explore. And that topic, gentlemen, is Bigfoot erotica.
Well, there was a congressman or whatever that got roasted.
That got roasted for it, right? So I wanted to talk a bit about that. And guys, I've been researching. I've been reading up on some of this Bigfoot erotica. Do you know it's a whole genre?
Yeah.
Don't want to know.
I actually got some of them downloaded on ebook, and I'm going to read them, and I'm going to share with you some of my findings.
Okay. I want blow by. No, that didn't come out right. I want play by play.
Then it's got to be on his channel.
It's got to be on my channel.
Oh, yeah. There ain't no lie about that.
Eric R says, I believe Bigfoot is time jumpers, basically, and they go through time, or jumpers, and they go through time portals.
I mean, it's as good as anything else we've had postulated as for the last 10 years or so.
I can't tell you they are, and I can't tell you they're not, because I haven't seen any proof to sway me one way or the other.
Yeah.
I haven't seen one jump into a portal.
Let's see. Which congressman is Boondock talking about here?
The one that got busted for Bigfoot porn.
Oh, he might have been. Who knows?
He was from Virginia, actually.
There you go. Ha.
Yeah.
Okay. Ha.
He was busted. He was into Bigfoot erotica. So
Nemo. We did not watch an actual erotica. It never got to that point, but that one we watched that we never wanted to talk about again. Thank you for bringing it up. Yeah, we watched something along that lines. It tried to mate with a bunch of people.
Oh, are you talking about that Sasquatch Sundown or whatever the hell it was?
No, it was the one we sat here on his channel and watched. Bigfoot mates with anything.
Oh yeah.
Well, there's that new movie out there, or that latest movie last year, I think it was.
Sasquatch
Sundown or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, that's that one with Riley Keough, or the girl from Daisy and the Six or whatever it was, Elvis's granddaughter. She's one of them, and Jesse Eisenberg's the other one.
I didn't. I didn't attempt to watch
Sasquatch Sundown. That's what it was. Yeah, you're right.
Oh, you attempted to watch it?
I came across it last night.
Oh, yeah.
Where I could watch it, and I'm like,
Sunset. Sasquatch
no.
Sunset.
I just couldn't bring myself to watch it.
Why not?
There's
you weren't
no
curious?
dialogue.
I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'll watch it and.
You gotta do a movie review of it.
No, I don't.
You're the person to do it, Tex. Anyone who is curious about that movie.
Rhino.
What happened?
Well, we talk about a real rhino. We talk about the rhino that we're the political rhino, because we're not going into politics at all.
No, so, Tex doesn't like talking about politics.
Me neither. I hate it.
Oh, I love it. Me and Jason talk about politics all the time.
You can't help but talk politics with Jason, though. It's because that's all he goes after. Unless it's comic books. And I hope you hear me, Jason. Okay, yeah, political. So you're talking about the rhino, meaning Republican in name only. And yeah, no, I'm not touching that one. No. So. Anywho.
No, I ain't going to.
Well, we can talk about places that we've talked about in the past.
Bristol says Sasquatch sunsets sucked.
Yes, 100%.
Did y'all see the ghost light? I have real ghost lights.
Yeah, I see it right behind you.
If anybody asked, what's a ghost light? There it is.
Well, no, because I can't see nothing. There's no red circle.
Well, it's got a red square around it. Does that help?
No, it's an actual ghost light. Nice.
Yeah. Brandi bought me that at the conference.
I don't know how to take this one, though, but whether or not, this is just mess around. But Boondock, the most popular Sasquatch adult actress is called Sugar Booger. Now, I want to know how he knows this, first of all.
Well, I know Boondock, and I don't have to ask myself that question.
Oh, my Lord. Giant kitty. Oh, man. Okay, so let me see. You know what? You know what we ought to do? We ought to just do some stuff for the fun of it out here. Let's see what I can find. I'm going to find some stuff here.
I told you I already did.
Where you ain't pulled them up and you ain't talked about them.
What? Y'all told me not to.
Donnie, did I ever say don't pull it up? Did you ever say don't pull it up?
No, go ahead. Go for it.
I didn't think so. Just as long as you don't bring up those cannons again, we're fine.
Snow cannons, Randy. Snow cannons.
Those were hail cannons. They weren't snow cannons. They were hail cannons.
That's why the word Hail Mary came from. That's where the word Hail Mary came from. It's a cannon you shoot into the sky, like a Hail Mary pass.
And I've been out on everything, every social media known to man, looking for different, evidence, obviously, when we do for Truth or Tinfoil.
Yeah.
And I'm almost at the point, I think I found the end of the internet when it comes to this kind of stuff now, because everything else is just so outlandish. It wouldn't even qualify as even, it wouldn't go.
Well, sometimes the silly stuff is entertaining, though, just laughing at how silly it is, Yeah,
but some of it wouldn't even make it onto a current affair. So that ought to tell you something. That's National Geographic or National Enquirer on TV. So, hell.
Right.
Okay, what we got here?
Supposed to be a Bigfoot picture.
Is it?
Looks like supposed to be two of them.
Yeah. I can see where they might see that. And this is in Pennsylvania.
Yep.
So, do we know where in Pennsylvania?
Nope.
Oh, here we go. Patty got one there. As soon as we finish this, I'm going to star that one, though. I got you, Patty. That one I saw. Now, that one's from the Provo Canyon one. That right there is what we did.
Patty's got a subject.
Yeah, I've got it starred there. So, But that one right there, Texas, from Provo Canyon. I did the video on that on Sunday. That one, me and Donnie both thought was legit. So
it was looking good.
Yeah. This one I don't know about. For those who don't know, that one that was on there before, the one from Provo Canyon, there is a video, and you see this thing stand up from,
and it was clearly bipedal.
Area. Yeah. When it's crouching, and when it stood up, those people booked it because they were just a family that was hiking, and like brothers and sisters, siblings, or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
And when because they thought it was a bear at first, and when it stood up, they booked it. So we didn't get anything after that.
I can see where something is there, but I can't tell you what it is on this one.
Yeah,
that could be a bear. It could be
it could be just shadow right there, But it's hard.
But you do see some.
Zoom in on it again.
You can make out some. Looks like
what looks like hair.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But
I
don't know.
More fur than it is real hair, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that one too. We went over this one. This was one of the first ones we did on Truth or Tinfoil too, and we I think this was in the Washington area, Oregon. This was out of Oregon, and I think me and Brandi looked at. We were trying to decide whether we could see if there was a coat on the person or not.
Pat Evans doesn't believe in Bigfoot.
I'll say this: the legs look awful small.
Yeah, but the reason we were looking at it because I think the legs are into the grass.
Yeah, but that grass ain't that high.
That behind him looks like it is.
Yeah, maybe, I guess.
But either way, I mean, there's not enough depth. There's not enough stuff there for us to actually say yay or nay one way or the other anyway. So. So, yeah, that's a silhouette. I already know that one.
Yeah.
I don't know why they would even put that up there. And yeah, okay, that's just wrong.
Oh. Well, I could put up crazier than that.
Oh, no, we're good. We're good.
Andrew's like, where's my Missouri dinner dates? Yeah, well, Missouri's going through it right now with the weather and everything.
Yeah, they're in Tornado Alley right now again. So.
Yeah.
Now, Patty, you gave us one.
Good cryptid movies?
Cryptid movies.
Good. Now, stress that. Good cryptid movies, okay?
I have
the first one. Well, I'm going to give the first one to Yvette. That was a great movie. That was a heck of a movie.
Dog Soldiers?
Dog Soldiers was really good. I was surprised.
That one I haven't seen. I still have to see that one.
I was very surprised, that was, yeah.
Yeah, that's a werewolf movie.
Yep, sure is. I don't know if you really call it I don't know if you call it cryptid, but, it's still fun. It was a fun movie. Okay,
so, Donnie, what do you think?
My opinion, Troll Hunter. And you might say, hey, trolls aren't known cryptids, but if you think about the subject matter and the way the phenomena of trolls in the movie are handled, I think it's a real good depiction of like just, the cover up, the missing people, the way the trolls are handled, the way they're kind of, I don't know. I consider it a solid cryptid movie, and as a cryptid movie, I think it's a really good one. If you haven't seen it, I think it's worth watching. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
That's my opinion.
Well, yeah, I mean, of course, everybody immediately runs to Boggy Creek right off the bat.
Well,
yeah.
That's like the know all be all or whatever. But I'm, quite frankly, I know it's cultural phenomena or cultural this whatever. It's become a cult classic. So I just never cared for the movie. It was a B movie at best. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what got everybody, into it the most was the fact that it was in everybody's backyard for the most part, if you want to get right down to it. So it kind of struck a nerve with a lot of people that watched it. Now, if it's me, there's 2 movies in the last 5 years, or I guess it's been about 5 years, maybe even longer than that now, that I thought were better than Boggy Creek ever thought of being. One was Exists.
Good movie.
Never heard of that one.
You need to watch Exists. That one right there that'll send you for a little bit of a loop. It will.
They actually did the research on that movie, and it took place in the big thicket down here in Texas too.
Yeah. Yep. And then you also there's another one that was kind of hits more on the family side of it that wasn't really it was never really talked about, but There's Something in the Woods.
Yeah. Yep.
That movie was so cool because you got the reactions of the townspeople and the boys, the guy's dad, when he's trying to talk to him, he's trying to tell him, boy, you better sit down and listen.
Yep.
And then tells him all about it. And I'm like, this stuff, and Rissa, like Sasquatch, the Legend of Bigfoot, that was another one, but that was from the 70s, and that was one you watched on. Remember when we used to go home, Channel 8 here used to have afternoon movies.
Yeah.
That was when I'd watch all my Godzilla movies. That was when I'd watch all the other stuff. Bigfoot, the legend of Bigfoot was on there every so often, and I watched it every single time. Because it reminded me of the way they covered it in the old In Search Of with Leonard Nimoy. So I was like, oh yeah, I'm watching that. But it was there was parts of it that were goofy and stuff like that, but they filmed it to make you think they were really doing a full-blown documentary on it,
Oh, hang on. From the comments is one reason I don't believe in Bigfoot. Why don't we have proof?
Yep, from Pat. Yeah. Stated up there that they don't believe in it. That's your prerogative, obviously. Yeah.
Yep. Well, I want to address the whole proof thing.
All right. You have the floor.
Well, y'all go ahead and while I dig some stuff up.
Oh.
Well, you can dig it up, but is there anything, and I'm going to play devil's advocate right here. Is there anything in the actual scientific realm that has the proof yet?
That they're letting out? No. Well, yeah.
There is?
Actually, yeah.
There's DNA, there's body, there's what? What do we have?
Gigantopithecus.
We're talking about right now. We're not talking about from the fossil record. We're talking about right now because they didn't get DNA out of that Gigantopithecus tooth and jaw.
No, they got something else. I forgot what it's called. Hold on, let me think of it. I just did
mitochondrial DNA.
No, not mitochondrial DNA. Man, this is gonna bother me now. No, it wasn't.
I'd like to know because honestly, I really don't know of any. That's why I'm asking because I don't know of any true scientific proof of any way, shape, or form that has been corroborated, quote unquote.
That not as is releasing is what you're talking about. Because we trust the mainstream science so much.
Well, yeah, I do. I'm a scientist.
Oh, no, it was
That's what I do.
It was like peptide sequencing.
Okay.
The sequence of amino acids they were able to extrapolate off the teeth, and that's what they linked. That's how they linked it with orangutans.
Yeah, because it's the same peptide strings, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now that I can see, but once again, we're talking about we're going closer to orangutans than we are anything else. But the pure size of it alone, obviously, as we talk about it, we know it was around what was the last 250,000 years ago or something like
10,000 years ago.
Yeah.
Is it 10,000 years ago? Okay, so even 10,000 years and nothing since. And we found fossils of the early humanoids, the little people in Africa, and stuff like that. We found fossil records and we found a lot of fossils. That's the only fossil we've ever found of Gigantopithecus. The only one.
It's actually between 2 million and 300,000 years ago.
Okay.
So humans were just starting to be around then.
Yeah.
But
well, and it was still, it was before Neanderthals, and so Gigantopithecus was a great ape at a time when even great apes weren't really around. Sounds like.
Yeah, found along like southern China and Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
But there's not really much to go off of it because all we have are just a couple mandible bones and then just teeth. Like, we don't really know how big it was. We just have an idea because like let's say like if the teeth, all right, so this thing through peptide sequencing we find is related to an orangutan, but then we find its teeth are about 3 times the size of an orangutan's tooth. So the scientists, that's how they kind of figure out, okay, so this thing must be 3 times the size of an orangutan.
Exactly.
But body dimensions don't always work that way, right? Like, we don't really know how long a megalodon was. All we know is just how big its jaw was.
Jaws. Yeah, because of the cartilage. It's not bone.
So
okay, so how do we explain away the evidence that we have?
We don't. I'm not saying it's not real. Don't get me wrong.
No,
I'm talking about corroborated scientific evidence that actually, and we don't know for sure, like we talked about before. Me and you have actually talked about this a bunch of times. There's DNA sequences out there that they can't identify with anything because we don't have it in the database.
Mm-hmm.
And until we have a control group to put it in a database, it's just going to be out there flapping. And that's the same goes for several other species, known new species. It took years upon years upon years for them to actually document it properly. And that's what it'll take. And unfortunately, I hate to say it like it because like I said before, I'm Fox Mulder. I mean, literally, I want to believe, but I've got to have something to believe. You know what I mean? They're going to have a body. They're going to have a body for it to be accepted.
Are we talking about Gigantopithecus or Bigfoot?
What you're saying is they're going to have a body. They do have bodies. The thing about it is they're not letting them go. We're not privy to that information. I fully believe that because I know what's out there. I've seen it. I've got physical proof of it.
Right.
I can convict him in freaking court. Okay. So, and that's what bothers me. You've got enough evidence to convict him. You could put him on death row with the evidence that we have.
Yeah.
And
that's just it. I don't see this evidence that everybody's talking about.
Mainstream will not recognize it as a species. Just how it is.
Mm-hmm.
Not yet. Arguably they have. I mean, because why are they making laws against harming chimeras or even harming Bigfoot as named? And
in certain states,
why are we putting them in pamphlets for the government? Why are we
that? And I can't tell you. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't know because I am not privy to any of the information you're telling me about. I am not privy, and don't get me wrong. I've heard people talk about there's extra to the Patterson Gimlin this and there's extra this and extra that. I cry BS until they bring it out. It's BS to me. I'm sorry. It's just, it is what it is.
No, I'm with you on that. But what I'm saying is we have physical evidence.
We've got pictures, the handprints. We've seen the footprints, and we've had experiences. Don't get me wrong. All of us has had experience to a certain extent. I haven't. I mean, literally, I've had that half waking thing where I thought I saw something, and then we saw something we thought came from the woods up toward the fire and then back out. And
but I don't think that was big.
I don't think it was either. But I mean, you guys have all had experiences with quote unquote Bigfoot up there where I haven't really. Other than stuff that I couldn't explain with the cameras. That's it.
So the handprints that we have been looked at by law enforcement and wildlife experts, fingerprint experts.
Yes. They're
human-like handprints, but they're not human.
No. And I fully understand that.
We've got one. And as soon as somebody can give me and riddle me this, Batman.
Hang on, wait a minute.
Right,
I am not saying this at all, Gary. I'm not saying it at all. I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm not saying anybody's wrong at all.
Why have we made it extremely freaking public that we have the handprint that we pulled off of the truck of a truck?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that is very, very oily.
Yep,
we've got that. It's frozen. Why has nobody stepped forward to go, I want to check that. I want the DNA off of that.
Yeah, I can't tell you that because I'm in no position to sit there and go running DNA on stuff because I don't have access to labs.
Well, I don't have the funds to do that shit. But
nobody does. Nobody in our situation would. So,
but I will tell you this: there's people out there that claim to be all about this subject, big names,
yeah,
that would have access to this that have not hit us up about it,
and they know about it.
Yeah. So, what does that take? And I'm supposed to. And what's going to happen when if somebody listens to this show and they say, "Oh," and then they come forward, "Oh, now I'm supposed to trust you with my DNA sample."
Yeah. Well,
so but what I'll tell you this: they're not getting the whole damn thing.
Oh no! Never do that. That was like
all they're going to do. Even at that, all they're going to do is come back and say it's contaminated with human DNA. That's all they're going to do.
There's no doubt there's no doubt that's going to happen. And that's the problem that I have with it. You get more of something out of those dermal ridges, that print itself.
Yep.
And you'll get out of the DNA because the DNA, like I said, it's oily and everything, but you don't know what oil that is. Is it the creature's oil or the thing's oils, or is it something else it got into?
Well, it's just like the big pea puddle. Everybody, when we first talked about it, everybody's like, why didn't you get a sample? Because we had already contaminated it.
Yeah.
So there was no sense in pulling a DNA sample.
Yeah.
But what I have a problem with is they want their cake and eat it too, because they can have a DNA sample that has different DNA in it from different people, and they can tell you whose DNA is in that single sample. But when you give them a sample that's supposed to be something that doesn't exist, their go-to is it's contaminated. We can't tell. Bull crap.
Yeah. That's the problem. It's not the fact that there's no proof. It's the fact that even if you do have proof, people are going to dismiss it anyway.
Exactly.
They're not going to look at it. They're not going to look at it objectively.
I think there's plenty of proof that Bigfoot's out there. It's just that mainstream science or media just refuses to accept it because it's not mainstream. It doesn't fit their worldview. So
absolutely.
So they're going to poo-poo it anyway. So of course there's going to be no quote unquote proof out there.
Hey, did you do something for tonight? Did you do a certain thing for tonight? Now that I think about it?
Yeah.
You did? Oh, okay. Yeah. Well,
Donnie Cho, meme of the week.
This is an oldie but goodie. I didn't know what this was going to be a mystery show tonight, so I just took out an old one from back when I first started making memes. Here we go. My morning poop routine. On the left, it's oatmeal, toast, and coffee. And on the right, it's McDonald's breakfast burrito.
Did you consult Mr. Finch with this meme?
No, this is an old one I made.
Because he
from back in the
he's the one that gives us a poop update he gives us a weekly poop update.
Yeah.
On waking up weird.
Oh yeah. Well, he should try out those McDonald's breakfast burritos, man. They will cut through your digestive system like a knife through hot butter.
Not happening.
Did you hear you know what? Not this last trip, but the trip before, out to Dogman Ranch.
Mm-hmm.
Our dear friend, Jason McLean, said, I'm coming and I'm bringing breakfast.
Oh, yeah? What did he bring?
We're camping out. We're out there for almost a week. He brings bean and cheese freaking burritos.
That's breakfast. If you're in Britain.
You don't do that to people that's camping out for a week. I'm just saying.
What do you do? Get them at McDonald's or something, or at Taco Bell?
I can't remember where they came from. I want to say Rudy's.
Oh, no idea.
Or Rose's. Maybe Rose's.
It might have been Rose's.
Well, you were out there for a week camping?
Yeah, I go out there. Yeah, we go out there for, like 4 or 5 nights and days. Yeah, why? That's what you're doing when you come down.
Oh man, am I? Oh no.
Since we're on this whole Bigfoot subject, I got one here from Bristol from earlier.
Okay.
So I don't know about this one, honestly. Since everyone's talking about small town monsters is what we're talking about the last week. Thoughts on Justin Smidge's Bigfoot killings? I don't know. I hope I pronounced his name right. So
what happened with the Bigfoot killings?
No idea. Have you seen it yet, Tex?
Nope.
Okay, then I haven't watched it yet. Now the name looks familiar, but I could not tell you.
Well, I know the name, but I have no idea.
I don't know about a killing. I don't know anything about no killings.
I have not watched their latest release. So
yeah, I probably need to watch that then. So, I'll put it going while I'm at work tomorrow then, so I can listen to it. The other one was Gary came up with one about what about 2 30-foot skeletons that were just found. That's another one I don't know anything about. I haven't heard anything about that.
Well, there's been multiple ones found. I mean, but there again, do you choose to trust?
But 30-foot, 2 30-foot skeletons, 30-foot what? Snakes, amphibians?
No,
what were they?
Human-like skeletons.
So you tell me that these were 30-foot tall people?
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
Giants. Where were they discovered at?
That I don't know. That's what I'm saying.
There was some that was discovered in Utah. There's been discoveries of those all over the world.
There was another one. Who was it over here that said it was Missouri? There's one from Missouri. I'm trying to see here.
Oh, Ristel. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about now. He sounds believable, but what do you do? The black, he didn't kill the adult. Now, is this the same one? He didn't kill the adult. He shot the baby. And the adult ran off with the baby. Is that the same one? And then the men in black came in and visited him and said, "You didn't see nothing. You didn't do nothing. You didn't hear nothing." That's the Reader's Digest version.
No idea.
Said there was 2 skeletons found in Missouri. There you go.
That's the ones I was thinking about. I saw it over there. The Missouri. There was a name werewolf. You had it up there earlier, and I can't remember what you called it. The Missouri something. Missouri Giants, yeah, the Missouri, and they were taken by the Smithsonian. So,
yeah,
which there's been rumors even from the time when Scott Walter used to have that America Unearthed show on, where he'd go through and look at all of it. He had stuff, the Giants of Georgia. He was talking about the Giants in Georgia that they found the mounds for or whatever. So, I mean, I think there's plenty of actual fossil records show humanoid giants of some sort, but to show that they're actually living now is the other issue, is what we got. Not that it's not happening, not that it's not true, not that we haven't seen or we got whatever. We, for whatever reason, or somebody cannot get the mainstream anybody to pick up on it.
They won't allow it.
Which that's a government issue then, because quite frankly, this is what makes no sense to me. And this, honestly, why would the government not want it?
Because it comes down to money. It comes down to money, because look at what it would do to the lumber industry, the tourist industry, the parks. The list goes on. And not to mention, you've got Bible thumpers out there that it would shatter their freaking reality.
Oh yeah, 100%. I agree. Don't get me wrong. I
you roll all that into one, and there you go. You know, that's why I think they're doing soft disclosure, just like they did UFOs.
Yeah, and like I
Because
said,
what happened when they first came off of it and said, okay, UFOs exist, and they crawfished and they came back out, and they crawfished, and they came back out, you know, and all that kind of thing.
yeah.
But when they first came out and said that, okay, they exist, here's the proof, the government did. I expected to log on to this YouTube and find it blowing up.
Yeah.
Crickets.
Well, you know why? Because they didn't really say, hey, aliens exist. They said, yes, there's aerial phenomena out there that we cannot explain. We're trying to study it, and this was the programs we used to study it with. That's it. And they declassified all their photos and all their stuff that they had right there associated with it. And that's all they did.
Well,
so, you know,
there is. See, I don't think, because it didn't cause the hoopla that it either didn't cause the hoopla that they thought it was going to, or it was accepted exactly the way they planned, because of all the soft disclosure 75 years before, up until, you know, and if you look at the things that they did with the UFOs and you know, the films and the jokes and everything, you know, look at the extraterrestrial highway. I mean, come on, you got governments naming stuff, you know, as a joke, but
that might have a kernel in truth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're seeing the same thing with Bigfoot. Sasquatch Prudential Park in Canada. Okay.
Yeah.
They went to him and they asked, why did you, if Sasquatch doesn't exist, why did you name this park Sasquatch Prudential Park? Oh, that was a joke. Really?
Yeah. That right there. Number one, don't joke about it. First of all, it's not a joke. To a lot of people, it's not a joke.
Right.
But if you're going to name it, say look at it and say, hey, Sasquatch is part of our culture now. If you say it like that, it becomes more feasible.
Yeah.
It may or may not be real, but because it's that big of a part of our culture and our areas now, we're going to accept it.
Why?
You know, you can't read that fast, right?
Why do we think that from the word go? Now, I'm not talking about recent history.
Yeah.
But from the word go, everything that was passed on, you know, we are still very, very dismissive of the Native Americans.
Oh, okay? Yeah. Oh, yeah. 100%. I agree.
Because they do not take anything. They're very selective in what they take seriously about their passed on history. Okay. They call, no kidding. It's folklore. That's what they call their passed on oral history. It's folklore. Okay. Because it makes no sense. And we say this all the time as to why every tribe has a name for Bigfoot. Every one of them. They all have, there's paintings all over the world about these things. But they choose when mainstream presents it, you've got an antelope, you've got an elephant, you've got this, you've got that. Oh, this is stuff they saw every day.
Yeah.
But not this. You know, that's why I say they want their cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's, there's still a lot to be learned from the Native Americans and their cultures and such, that we as our side of the coin, you know, we need to try and figure out what, I shouldn't even say it like that. I mean, not necessarily what's real and what isn't real. What do they think is truly real and where it came from, you know, type thing. Because then you start talking about skinwalkers, wendigos, and stuff like that. And that's a whole different animal, you know?
Right.
And then we can get back into, you know, we've been talking about the Bigfoot side of it. Hell, let's go all the way into the paranormal. Now, do ghosts exist too? I know people say, Baptists, you know, Baptists, nope, ghosts are not, nope, no ghosts, no ghosts, no ghosts, no ghosts. Well,
yeah, but they expect you to believe in a supernatural being.
Exactly. So I don't have a problem with that because, like Uncle Hub said in Secondhand Lines, just because something ain't true don't mean you can't believe in it. Okay.
Right.
Belief is a very strong emotion and core to the human psyche to start with.
Absolutely.
You shoot that out of somebody and you can see, especially if you really prove them wrong, you can look at and see part of their being just kind of die. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I don't ever want that to happen to somebody. I will never sit there and tell somebody they are wrong because they believe it. It doesn't matter if it's not true or not. They still believe it. Believe it.
It's their truth.
It's your truth. You believe it until you think that you can't believe it anymore. Then that's something if you need help with it, I'll try and help you along with it. But I'm not going to just sit there. Oh no, you're wrong. You're wrong. Nope, it ain't happening. That's why I never give anybody crap about the dog man stuff unless I'm just trying to get you riled. You know,
I mean, it's just like my attitude towards like K-pop, right? Like I believe that K-pop is superior to all forms of Western and American music, and I think all you people who like all that American music crap, it's garbage. But that's just my belief. That's just my truth, right? I know you guys like that sort of music, and you guys obviously don't think my truth is your truth, even though K-pop is superior than whatever old-timey rock music that you guys listen to. That fossil
I'm gonna tell you what. You're lucky Jerry Lee Lewis isn't alive still, because he'd go beat up every K-pop dadgum artist out there.
Just saying. But that's just my truth, guys. That's the truth that I live by, you know?
See that while that doesn't really help me a whole lot to point out what I'm thinking, but okay. We want to talk about music. That's for on Donnie's show so we can trash his stuff later. Okay, we got him. I did put one on here that so with Keith. I mean, if we go see this, they take off quickly. Do they see us like we see them? I immediately think. Remember the movie The Others?
Yeah, that was a good movie. I like that one.
That was a great movie, and you talk about a twist at the end, right?
Yep.
I mean, maybe they're stuck and they don't see us the way we see them, or they see us like we're ghosts to them in their reality. You know
That's what I was about to say.
That's wow. You know, I mean, that's
like to them, we're the mythical creatures.
Yeah. To even wrap your mind around that, you know, that takes a physicist, and I'm just going to say a physicist, a normal physicist that deals with either quantum or theoretical. That entire idea would cause him go into an anapleptic, or just twitch and fit, because his mind's going into a complete paradox on itself, So I don't know. I mean, do I believe there's ghosts? I believe there's spirits. Yes, I do. 100%. Do I believe that people have quote unquote spirit guides? Yes, I do. You know why? Because I got 2 or 3 women in my life keep telling me it all the time. Okay, got it. I need to figure out how to get them to talk to me. All right. One of these days I'll figure it out. I don't know when, I don't know how, but it'll have to happen because they keep telling me, hey, you need to listen to them. What are they telling me? We don't know. You have to tell. Okay. But, my wife, she's Wiccan. So she's already into the cleansings and the stones and all of the tarots and stuff like that. She's into that stuff. And, again, I cannot sit there and look at her and say it's all fake, because the vast majority of stuff we bring into this modern world right now from the medieval times and before in the Dark Ages was all based in that pagan philosophies. A lot of our holidays, the solstices, the stuff that people really live and die by, a lot of that stuff came from pagan beliefs and such. So,
well, we wanted a holiday and we just normalized it.
that too. I mean, you don't have to twist my arm. I mean, let's see. Keith came back with one here. Is that they're in a different dimension than us, and the lines cross. Why not? You're right. If the veil or whatever it is, people like to call it, thins or string theory. String theory will propose, the vibration of one string will actually, reverberate into other dimensions.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say it would not take much. It would not take much for it to be that way.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if mainstream science figured out how the quantum field actually worked, like quantum gravity, the grand theory of unified physics and all that, I'm sure once they figured all of that stuff out, then things like ghosts would make more sense.
Yeah, I think we figure out what they were, quote unquote. But then we're talking about where you'd be shattering people's beliefs because we're believing in that afterlife. You know what I mean?
Right.
So if the people believing in the afterlife are there demons and stuff, okay? Depending on who you talk to, a lot of people don't believe in demons. A lot of people don't believe that a human spirit can be evil. Well, what if he was a asshole in life?
Right. A lot of people think that, but then there are other people who think that it's all demons.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, each one lives by their own truth.
And some people, a lot of people don't believe children leave the spirits of the children stick around.
Well, I mean, for me, one of my biggest surprise getting into this whole cryptid paranormal scene was the amount of like really religious people there were with like Bigfoot people. I was surprised to see that there were like a lot of like very, very Christian people.
Yeah.
Which,
and I see a lot of it that people use it as a shield to try and protect themselves.
Yeah, I mean, no judgment on it.
No, and that's fine because that's what do we say about our paranormal kryptonite show? Whatever you believe in is what you need to use because that's the one you got to protect is you.
Yeah, and then there are a lot of people who will interpret the Bigfoot phenomenon through that very Christian lens.
Oh man, that's way over our heads here. Wait a second. You know what a Mobius strip is, right?
Yeah.
Boondock. Why did chicken cross the Mobius strip to get to the same side? Oh, see, I'm trying to keep an eye on the capitalized ones over here too. So,
Yvette says, "What's K-pop?"
Oh, don't tempt me. I'm being tempted, guys.
Yvette,
I have the power of sharing screen. I'm gonna put on a music video.
No, please don't. We don't want to get anything dinged on this channel. If we get something dinged, Brandi will come visit you.
Yvette, tune into my channel. You'll see. You'll see. Donnie Cho says stuff. Saturdays, 8:30 p.m. Central, 9:30 Eastern. You'll see.
Yeah.
I don't guess we're getting a Rob today.
I guess he just decided he wasn't going to show back up. That was our surprise guest, guys.
Yeah, that was supposed to be our surprise guest, guys. Rob was like 5 minutes before the show. He shows up. He's like, "Hey, I'm going to just say hi to you guys." And we're like, "Hey, why don't you stick around?" He's like, "Okay, let me go put on my makeup." And then no word from him ever again.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm going to remember he did that too.
Yeah.
Next time he does a 4-minute intro into a show.
Yeah.
That's every show. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, we've been going on about almost an hour and 20. Do you think we should?
Yep, call it.
Okay.
Yep, I'm okay with it because we just been BSing the whole way anyway.
Yeah. So yeah, tune into next week, guys. We're going to have some more topics prepared, but
hopefully. Yeah. Providing work doesn't get in the way.
All right. So, Randy, I'll give you the honors of pushing the button. Because last time I botched it.
I will say I do.